Hey everybody, welcome back. These cheaters ruined their relationships in 10 seconds or less.
He left you in his bed alone to go sleep with another girl.
My maid of honor speech after being cheated on at the Stag Do.
I know this, you've probably clawed your own eyes out listening to Andy's long wet wipe of a speech.
Oh.
It's the longest he's ever lasted.
Oh.
I am going to keep this quick because it's more than the standards of Sarah's are custom. For those of you who don't know me, I am... you will later on the dance floor, and those that do, you're welcome. When I was asked to make this speech, I was literally a little bit reluctant. Because you weren't asked? I was a little bit reluctant because for those who do know me, I fall into that category of shy and retiring, so no, I'm having you on. I did insist on doing this speech. So I'm the maid of honour, Sarah's sister, and arguably one of the most important people here today. Because without me, there's a group of girls in this room who would not have been walking around the streets of Bristol last month causing untold chaos. Woo, Empire girls. I have to give a special thanks to Andy for the little gift he gave each of the girls in their bags. And wasn't particularly formal. Thanks, Andy. My gift personally was confiscated by a rather dashing youngster who I can only assume thought I was too young and innocent for such an item. Thank you to the boys for making Andy's Stag do so much fun. He may have enjoyed it if he didn't have his phone surgically attached to his ear on the phone to Sarah to try and avoid getting stitched up. Isn't that true, Michael? Thank you. But I will give you one heads up about the boys on this Stag do. You know that old saying, what goes on tour stays on tour? It doesn't apply to these gentlemen. Just ask my absent plus one.
Oh, called out. Ooh, she called him out in the speech. That's petty, but like honestly, I'm not mad about it. God, that is just so unbelievably stereotypical. Like, just because you're on a bachelor or bachelorette party, that does not give you a pass. It does not give you a hall pass, okay?
Are you sure?
I have encountered some bachelor parties that have been super nice. They just kind of wanted some, quote,
female energy around.
Whether or not that's innocent, I don't know. Nothing happened most of the time with my friends, not with me. But I'm glad that she took matters into her own hands and exposed him in front of everyone. I would have done the same. Okay, so we got a story time. What happened?
So the guy that cheated on me, I was with him for just about a year at this time, but I met him very shortly after coming out of a 14-year relationship with my husband who had cheated on me and left. My boyfriend knew all about this, but he went away on the Stag do with the boys to Magaluf, I think it was. Or it might have been Benidorm, I can't remember. Anyway, there was one incident that actually proved that he cheated and another incident where it was a maybe. So he got separated from the rest of the stags, so he thought, but the next morning at breakfast, one of the other stags, who I didn't know, showed the group a video of my boyfriend snogging a girl in the middle of the dance floor. However, my brother and my now brother-in-law were there and saw this video. So their response to him was, you need to tell her or we will. He did tell me.
Period.
And that was it, because that's not something that I'm going to be putting up with. However,
Fair
my
enough.
brother did tell me that at another point in the weekend, he saw my ex-boyfriend at the ATM with a stood next to him, and he was withdrawing money. As it happened, as he went to withdraw the money, he grabbed it and ran away. My ex-boyfriend's response was he didn't know the stood next to him, but my brother felt a bit weird about it and was wondering, why would you take money out with a prostitute? What reason would you need cash at 4 o'clock in the morning? So he definitely did me a favour, and there's your story time.
Okay. The parts that we muted, let's explain it for the parents in the room who didn't catch that. How do I even say that? Hostitute. He got caught with a hostitute.
What's going on here, guys?
Buddy, dude. So not once, but twice on the same trip. Yeah, that'll ruin your relationship in 10 seconds or less. Wow. Well, that was a treat. That was a treat. I think it's gotten to a point where like bachelor and bachelorette parties, like there's gonna be mischief. Like there's always a little bit of mischief, okay? A little bit of debauchery. Like I think as long as there's no touching, I think it's okay. But the line cannot be crossed, okay? It really, really can't be crossed. The stories I have about bachelor parties. And then I also have stories about bachelor parties that actually really impressed me as well. Like we once, kind of hung out with a bachelor party and half of them were so mean to us. Half of them invited us to go out with them in Vegas and half of them were so mean to us. And like, quite honestly, if Mike goes on a bachelor party and there happens to be like girls there, if he's not mean to them, I'm gonna be mad. No, Mike's bachelor party, I'm pretty sure will consist of him and his friends renting a cottage and not having any women there.
Put a finger down if you've been talking to a guy for a couple days and you've been on a couple dates with him and this is your third date with him and you decide to have a night in together. So you're having pizza, watching movies, drinking wine, snuggling, laughing, expressing your feelings towards each other. You then go to bed. And while you're laying in bed with him, you're laying on his chest and he's texting another girl and this girl has heart emojis next to her name.
Stop!
Texting her right in front of you.
In front of
So
you?
you, of course, ask, hey, who's that? He tells you that it is his friend's girlfriend. Confused why
there's
her name
hearts.
would have hearts next to it. It's a friend's girlfriend, but okay, I don't know your friendships, whatever. She's asking him to come pick her up. She is drunk at a bar. She can't drive. She's throwing up, and she's constantly FaceTiming him, constantly asking him to come pick her up.
Why is this guy's friend's girlfriend texting the guy that you're seeing, asking him to come and pick her up? Doesn't she have a boyfriend that she can text? Make it make sense, because honestly, the math is not mathing. Like, it's really not mathing. That is such a bad lie. Like, that is just you hear that and you're like, you must really think we're stupid. Like, it's insulting. It's insulting to think that, like, we could hear that and not immediately wave a gigantic red flag.
I ask him, why can't the boyfriend just go pick her up? Why is she
Period.
contacting you? He tells you that her boyfriend is in Orlando.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So he's
Uber?
telling you that he's not going to take her. And then you start to fall asleep and he decides that he is going to take her. So he starts getting ready. You can tell because you're in and out of sleep, but you hear water running, you hear clothes rustling. You just remember thinking, I'm like, what is taking this guy so long to just go get these girls? Just throw on a hoodie and go, right? Finally, he leaves. It was around 12:30, 12:45-ish. I fall asleep. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and there is nobody next to me. He never came home.
Oh my gosh.
So, of course, I'm freaking out. I'm scared. I'm thinking, like, oh my God, something bad's happened to him. You're looking up car crashes in the area. You're just standing in this random bedroom that you've never been in before alone. And you're like, what is going on? And then you remember, oh, he's with another. So, of course, you grab all your stuff because what the hell? You grab all your stuff. You drive 30 minutes back home at 4 o'clock in the morning. And, of course, you text him and call him, and you're like, hey, where are you? And no answer, of course.
Duh.
And then at 6:30 in the morning, he decides to text you. What happened was he picked them up, brought them inside, had a beer, which if the girls were completely belligerent,
Why are you
why would
drinking?
you want to have a beer there if they're
Yeah.
throwing up? Because that's what he was saying. They were throwing up everywhere, and he had to like pick the one girl up and take her inside. And I'm like, so why would you have a beer there anyway? After the beer, it was around 3-ish, and he went to go just shut his eyes in a gas station parking lot for about 15 minutes, and turned into 4 hours of a nap. He likes to call it a nap.
Uh-huh.
Now, would that make sense? I mean,
No.
still no.
No.
But to make matters even worse, he works night shift. He's used to being up at night. And he lives 25 minutes away from downtown. Why do you need to take a nap in between that? Anyways. So, of course, you don't believe any of that. So,
Good.
he left you in his bed alone to go sleep with another girl, even though he was already taken care of. But he needed more, I guess. Man needs more. I wasn't enough. That's fine. That's fine. So you call him out of his You're like, I don't believe you at all.
Yeah.
I'm never talking to you again. You're disgusting and literally f*** off. And so you're like, you know what? I'm going to try to find this girl. So this guy has 2 Instagrams.
Tea.
He's girly pop. And he has a Finsta and a real Instagram. And he doesn't use his real Instagram. So he says, and his Finsta is what he follows you on. So you go look him up. He's blocked you already. Because, of course, I did something wrong here. He's blocked you already on his Finsta, and then you go to see his regular Instagram to see if you can find the girl. He deleted his entire Instagram. The entire real Instagram is gone.
He's doing damage control.
Does that scream guilty?
Yes.
Or what?
Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. Let me see the comments. Honestly, like at this point, the lies like are just like insulting. Like they're actually just insulting. Like the gaslighting and the lies and the excuses. Like any rational person with a brain that heard that would be like, that's a lie. Like you're lying. But no. He's gonna go with it. He's gonna go with that excuse. This comment says, went to his place on the 3rd date, girls stand up. Okay, sorry. Let's not shame people. Like I've like went to guys' house. As long as it's not the 1st date. I mean, we all like to say, you know, like wait as long as possible, but like, come on, just like give her a break, okay? Mike came to my house on the 2nd date and we're getting married. So that literally proves nothing. I would have left with some souvenirs. I don't condone this, but that's very funny. Ma'am, that's his girlfriend. Oh, that's a very good point. Okay, because why would you? No, well, would it be though? Because why didn't he just take her back to his place? Oh, right, because there was a girl in his bed. Makes sense. Yeah, no, the whole going to pick somebody up in the middle of the night, I feel like that's not something that like a hookup would do. That is totally something that a boyfriend would do. No, this is very, very insightful. And also the hearts. Nobody be putting hearts next to anybody's name in a phone that they aren't dating. Like actually dating. Most of the time, if you're just a hookup, it's like blonde 8, girl from bar, redhead 3. He picked up his girlfriend and stayed at her house. Yeah. And you know how you can also tell is because he has another Instagram, and I bet you anything, she's all over that Instagram because she's his girlfriend. My best friend had an affair with my husband when I was pregnant.
Story time of how my best friend and maid of honor ended up having an affair with my husband when I was about 6 to 7 months pregnant. So to start off with, my best friend and I met in high school, and we were very close. We were very close friends. I never would have anticipated that she would do something
horrible
like this to me. In fact, by the time that I was 6 to 7 months pregnant with our 3rd child, she also knew that he was being towards me. She had heard about some incidents. She had told me, you know, you need to start thinking on a plan to escape. And I was acknowledging that. And she was just really the person I would go to with all of my troubles. And so she knew what was going on in our house. And instead, when I'm 6 to 7 months pregnant, I realized that my husband's on his phone a lot. And my husband wasn't the type of person to be on his phone all the time. And any time that I came near him and he was on his phone, he'd turn his phone away or he'd turn it off real quick. And so one night in my pregnancy-induced anxiety, he falls asleep and his phone is on the charger next to him. I go over and I take the phone off the charger and I take it back to my side of the bed. And that is when I open up his phone and his Snapchat is still open. And in his Snapchat, he has saved weeks and weeks of conversation between him and my best friend. The conversations were very explicit. There were a lot of photos, a lot of videos, and at one point he even tells her how absolutely disgusting I am in this pregnancy, how he doesn't want to sleep with me, how he has no attraction towards me because I've gained so much weight. Because again, I am pregnant with our third child. And not only that, but I had gotten pregnant 6 months after having twins. It was not a pregnancy that I should have even had. And it was very unplanned. I was going through a lot of physical issues, a lot of mental issues. I had postpartum depression that I was battling. And now here I am pregnant, and I'm having an even harder time because I have 6 months old.
Have you ever seen a pregnant woman that's pregnant with twins? They get massive, okay? That is a massive tummy. Okay, you're eating for 3. I will never understand the excuse.
Oh, well, you got fat when you were pregnant, so I'm gonna go cheat on you.
What do you expect is gonna happen, dude? Like, that is not an excuse. Ugh. I'm triggered. This makes me angry. And the pressure to bounce back too after you've had kids, Lord have mercy.
Twins, 6-month-old delayed twins that are not crawling yet or doing anything like that. We have multiple therapy appointments. So I'm having a really hard time. And she was aware of this. But in the messages, she does not once defend me. She's just agreeing with him that I'm disgusting, agreeing that, you know, he just needs to move on. He needs a better wife. He needs a better person in his life. And it was devastating.
Oh, girly pop.
It was really one of the more traumatic experiences during that time, because I could take rejection from him. At this point in time, I already knew that he wasn't a great person, and I could take his rejection. But knowing that my best friend agreed with him lowered my self-esteem so massively that even when I confronted him about it, I confronted him from a point of view believing that I was so unworthy of love. Because not only did he not love me, but she didn't love me. So who on earth was going to love me?
We love you. We love you, bestie. Don't give up. Don't give up. Just because there's 2 horrible people that are gaslighting you into making you think that you're not a good person. Like, seriously, they must hate themselves. Okay, you did nothing wrong.
Slap your face.
Because how could you honestly do that to not, like, how could he do that to his wife who bore him children? But how could your best friend do that to her best friend and not feel guilty about it? Like, you gotta be a serious kind of like sociopath to not empathize. And in that case, if that's the case, that's not a friend anyway, okay? Screw them. They'll get their just desserts.
And when I confronted her, because I confronted her before him actually, she immediately launched into how she has a problem with alcohol, how this is just alcoholism, how she didn't mean any of it, and that I just really need to let this go because this wasn't her fault. It was just an addiction she was struggling through, and that my husband had been there for her and it had just gone a little too far. Let me be clear, my friend had never had a problem with alcohol, and she was not an alcoholic. She was just looking for a way to pin this on
victim mentality
herself. And I kind of let her know that, and she switched her tune real quick, and she just said, fine, don't talk to me. And that was the end of it.
Wow.
It was so easy for her to throw away our friendship that it's something that I don't know if I ever really got over, because all I can think about sometimes is, am I a good enough friend? Because I can't fathom how I can't fathom doing that to another person, let alone another woman. And so I don't know how she justified it, and to this day it really bothers me.
I'm sure it would.
To be honest, the betrayal from her hurt more than the betrayal from my husband.
Fair.
My husband, it was expected. From her, it was just, it added a completely different layer to it. And it is just, it's so hard to get through a best friend betrayal. Like, I can't even fathom someone doing that to someone else.
Me neither. And honestly, she's a weird bitch. She's a weird, like, you weird. You weird. You weird as hell, okay? It's not gonna make sense. You can't make it make sense. You can blame yourself as much as you want. But oftentimes, if you're like an amazing person, that almost makes you more of a target for these things. It makes people jealous of you. It makes people want what you have.
Okay, I'm jealous.
And you can't control it. Like, people always say,
Oh, you know, like they want to be successful. They want, you know, the fabulous boyfriend, the fabulous life.
guess what? That's gonna invite people that just hate you for no reason. Because the minute that you have something that they want, they will hate you regardless. So screw that weird bitch. Pick yourself up and make that man pay child support. Take him to court and drop her at. I just want to talk.
Girlie, if you thought your ex was bad, my girlies on here DM'd me, and she spilled the tea, and you can tell the girlie. So Shelby, living in New York, dating this guy, and he was well known. He was an actor. He was super cute, but like very quirky. He would always get so weird anytime. She would wear lip gloss or lipstick, be annoying about it. Like, oh, you kissed me, and then you got your lip gloss on me, and it's sticky. He would literally be so annoying. She straight up just stopped wearing lip gloss. One day, she's in his car and opens the glove box. He sees lipstick, a hairbrush, and looked at it, and it was like this dark brown reddish color, and she was like, I would never wear a color like this. In her gut, she felt like something was off. But at the same time, she had noticed that he kept texting this girl named Mary, but it was like really weird because he didn't have any friends named Mary. So what does she do? She goes on his Instagram, she looks to see if he's following any girls named Mary. Lo and behold, she finds a Mary. It's a message like, hey, I saw that your mutuals was to see like, yeah, well, you know him. And Shelby said like instantly she could tell the vibe, like Mary was a girl's girl. Mary was like, I really don't know him that well, but over the past couple weeks we've been on a few dates and we've just been having fun. And Shelby was like, girl, no, like I've literally been dating him for 6 months. Mary was like, so sorry, I had no idea. And this is when it gets real like John Tucker Must Unalive. We're gonna get him back. I decided to make a little Devlin in a paper bag. He took the lipstick and on the paper bag they wrote PG-13 version of Screw You. They just left it on his porch. You know what I would have done? Taken that lipstick to his nice car, written cheater on it.
If he has lip gloss on him from another girl, then that's gonna show his girlfriend that he's cheating. So he was like a well-known like actor, eh? That's interesting. Interesting. Oh my goodness. I wonder who it is. It not only sucks to find out that you're being cheated on, but it also sucks to find out that you are the one they're cheating with. Because then it's like you literally have no claim to this person. Unless you have the audacity, sorry. Unless you have found the audacity on Temu, you have no claim to that person. You are the other woman. This is when I was very, very young, but I had met a guy on a cruise. I really, really liked him, like a lot, to the point where like when the cruise was over, like I was like crying. Like I was so sad that I was never gonna see this guy again. You know, like we had each other on Facebook or whatever, and then like, you know, we're keeping in touch. And you know, one time like he's like messaging me on Facebook Messenger, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, yeah, so like that thing that happened, like, what do you think about it? And I was like, oh, like, I don't know. Like, I guess it was like really nice. Like it was nice that we got to like spend some time together or whatever. Turns out the whole time the person that's messaging me from his account is his girlfriend. And she started freaking out like once, you know, like I basically confirmed that he cheated, and I had no idea, by the way. And also I really liked this guy, but I was very young and stupid, okay? I must have been like 20. This guy was flirting with so many other girls, dude, like so many other girls. In the end, he ended up like choosing me, so to speak. He was cute, he was tall, he was handsome, he was a doctor, okay? Like he had, like my brother even liked him. My brother met him and he liked him. Anyways, so he was flirting with so many other people as well. And you know, this girl's like cussing me out and whatever. And I'm just like, listen, I had no idea that you existed. I'm really, really sorry. And, you know, eventually she reaches back out to me again and says like, hey, like, could you like tell me, you know, like behavior? And I was like, okay, you're kind of like actually rude to me. I had no idea, but you were rude to me. So I felt a little petty in that moment. I was just like, girl, he was flirting with at least 6 other girls and like grinding all up on 6 other girls at the nightclub like almost every night, okay? So it wasn't just me, and if he's told you that it was just me, he's lying. And then I never heard from either of them again, and the guy blocked me. Sorry, she told the truth. I could care less about that guy anymore. I don't give a crap. But his girlfriend needs to know exactly what he was up to, because clearly, you know, they had a fight, and he's like,
oh, it was just this one time and just this one time.
I'm like, Those cruises. Careful, when you're on vacation, you need to be adding people on Instagram, looking at their followings, looking at their tagged photos, okay? You need to get the last names. Because if you think he's cute, he either has a lot of other people who thinks he's cute or he has a girlfriend. Like I guarantee you. Lesson learned. Subscribe!